Wait. I mean, Kim, also, I was going to bring up the dollar store, who's one of our sponsors, which they'll online deliver everything except toilet paper. And Lynn says we're pointing our dollar store to the paper products. He says, "Be careful. We may not have toilet paper."
Hey, napkins. Hey, come on.
Yeah, but he says Lynn was telling. Hey, listen, he was telling us to point it somewhere else. Okay, don't have this run on.
The thing is there are other things that work. Okay, I mean, I grew up on a ranch. Tissues, they got paper products.
Okay, Willie, since you created the toilet paper challenge in Australia, tell me what the situation is in Australia with toilet paper. Can I get toilet paper in Australia, or is this you ran out?
Yes, you can, but it's rationed out. You can only get a roll.
Okay, you can only get one roll.
No, I mean like a package with like 6 or 9 in it.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah. So the other thing is when you go there, you look, where's the toilet paper? You go past the security guards, like 2 security guards, and then you get to the toilet paper, and the security guard hands you the toilet paper. You join the queue.
Really? No, I just want to know what the new normal is going to be with toilet paper here, because literally Costco, which is a huge company, is out of toilet paper. And I was impressed that they just don't have any. Is it hard to manufacture toilet paper? Is this a big deal?
Yeah, because we don't have recyclable paper much anymore. And that's where a lot of the toilet paper came from. But we reduced our paper products through the Paper Reduction Act. And so, yeah, we're all electronic. The paper, but a lot of toilet paper, from what I was told, was made out of recyclable.
Listen, I just don't want them to invent reusable toilet paper. That's all. So the thing is, they go, well, and I brought my mask. I have.
We're gonna do that.
First time I wore this N95 mask or whatever. Dr. Tulla knows what it is. Apparently, it's a good mask and stuff like that, because I was out with real people and had my gloves, my mask, but couldn't access toilet paper. And I was going, okay, I can't believe this. I mean, is this the new normal? I get ration toilet paper. I have to go out with a mask and gloves. Is that the new normal, Dr. Tulla?
It's going to be a suit. You're going to have to go out in a suit.
Dr. Tulla, is that the new normal? I have to go out with a mask.
So Nicholas, I would like to add here. I mean, so it's a little pun also intended here. So in India, Indian and maximum Asians are used to a process known as ebullition, right? So it is, we use water more than toilet paper.
Okay.
All right. So apparently, I mean, that is one trick which we should be teaching the Westerners also now, because I don't think your toilet paper issues are going to be sorted, I mean, very early in the near future. So maybe you can just do the ebullition, which is basically an act of washing yourself up.
Okay.
And then it is a simple trick. You wash yourself up and then just wash your hands with the soap.
Okay. All right. So there's going to be a new normal on this whole thing.
So cultures there'll be a lot of cultural exchanges in various types of.
Yeah, I've learned that. I've learned that. I'm not going to shake their hands and say, "Oh, here's some COVID-19, baby." No, okay, no COVID-19 for me. So the thing is, but
ebullition is a good procedure if you can just try it out. Maybe, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's something which you should look at it.
Yeah,
because I think that'll save a lot of toilet paper.
Yeah. Okay. Good. We'll save the trees, I guess, on the toilet paper. But what is the new normal over there in India? I mean, what's the how you say phase 2 plan over there after? Because right now you guys are in social isolation lockdown, right?
Yeah. So we are looking at we are on day 16 today.
Okay.
So we've got another 5 days to go more, and I'm sure the government is looking at it. There are lots of floaters going around with all kinds of theories being thrown up. Officially, the government is still tight-lipped on what they're going to do. But the great buzz is that they may open it for 2-3 days and then again re-implement the lockdown for another 3 weeks. Ankit may give us a little bit better insight into that, since he is better connected with the people high up.
do you have tests available so you can test people, or
So the testing at this stage, see, there has been a see. Actually, what is happening, Nick, is that there is a difference between the on-ground situation and what is being told. On the media channels.
Mhm.
So if you go to the media channels, then you see that on paper it is being told that we have these number of kits which are being flown in, and they'll be available within a day or two, and all that. But honestly speaking, at the moment, still we are not gone into mass testing. It's
Mhm.
only cluster based testing. Whichever areas there are certain cases there, they are doing it on a basis. But apparently it's not widespread testing which is being followed at the moment. I
Mhm.
think we have got a long time before we can really go on a mass level testing in India.
Really? Then how's the country going to get back to business? How are you guys going to do
So
this?
I really, I am skeptical that we are getting back to business. I think, in all probability, our lockdown will get further extended, because I think that's the only way where we can work around in our kind of setups. And
Okay.
we have our challenges, and I think that is the only way. Honestly speaking, I went through a lot of media channels. Apparently, see, we have a federal structure and we have states, like you have, right? So maximum, the top leaders of the states, the maximum states are, uh, I mean, toying with the idea of extending the lockdown. So even if the center does not want to do that, that means the federal government doesn't want to do a lockdown. States leaders are not very open to willing to let go of this lockdown,
Mhm. Right.
because at the moment, despite the lockdown being there, still we have seen the cases increasing. So imagine what is going to happen if this lockdown is not there.
Yeah, but the
Yeah,
thing is, how long are you going to be able to extend it? Because is everybody just going to stay home and die of old age? I mean, what's going to go on?
So 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 Nick, what is going to happen is, see, I mean, when you have a necessity, you have innovations also happening. So
Right.
for example, see, Punjab is a state which is known for,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is known as the food grain capital of India,
Mhm.
right? So there were some reports that the harvest season is due, and they have to cut the harvest, and the harvest has to be stored in gunny bags.
Right.
Now the top leader of Punjab has sent out an SOS to the chief minister of West Bengal, requesting her to send gunny bags to that area, because gunny bags, raw material is available in West Bengal, that is jute, and they make these gunny bags in West Bengal.
Hmm.
So apparently, people who were not much on talking terms to each other have now started talking with each other and trying to connect with each other and try to use the best of their abilities to help each other out.
Hmm. Right. Yeah, because I was going that, at a certain point in time, we're going to have to figure out, okay, the plan after the coronavirus. I mean, right now, if you're in lockdown, that's good, but what's the next step after the lockdown? How do we establish some new normal back then? In other words, when do you go back to work, Dr.
So
Tulla?
see what happens with us is that, see, we need to understand that we are primarily a rural population. So now I think is the time. This gives us, and the government also and us also, a good opportunity to really live. I mean, ensure that our infrastructure gets in order,
Hmm.
right? Because the maximum of our workforce has gone back to their rural areas, the villages, back to their domain where they came from. So
Hmm.
if we can replicate the model of what, uh, I would say, take out a leaf from post World War II. I'm talking about. I don't want to give an example of Germany as such, but
Hmm.
Germany, what they did was that they started investing a lot on their infrastructure.
Hmm.
So maybe India can also look at that, building up roads, doing up the infrastructure component by using these workers only as laborers for doing that job,
Hmm.
because they will have to develop a new skill set. And I'm very sure if we work in a positive manner, if the government thinks that way, they can do a lot of good to the economy as well. Because
Hmm.
please remember that now what has happened with us is that we have become more of a city based economy, and the rural areas have, the divide has worsened.
Mhm.
So if we can just look inwards into us, I think we can make a lot better for things to come if we just look at the positive side of it.
Right.
But the intent has to be there.
Yeah. Have you seen any treatments that have been developed, or any progress on the area of treatments of the coronavirus?
So again, the question again is that the reports coming out of US is that there are three basic lines on which the treatments are being developed. One is the antibodies-based plasma treatments,
Right.
right? The second is the vaccine, which is more of a preventive thing. J&J is working on it, and
Yes.
they have sent out mailers that most probably before the end of 2020 they will have the vaccine ready.
Seriously.
This is what this is what the emailers are coming to Maxim doctors out of J&J.
Yeah.
This is what
Wow.
the feelers are being sent across by J&J. So
Yep.
apparently it seems that they are more or less sorted with the vaccine. It is the final touches which they are going to give, and then of course the trials which they have to do. Of course, I'm sure that the governments will be, I mean, more proactive in the trials part, and the FDA will also have to let go of a lot of the red tapeism which is there.
Mhm.
And I'm sure that by hopefully by the end of 2020 or the beginning of January 2021, we will have a vaccine. My only worry is that the only caveat there is I just hope the virus remains the same. The virus should
Right.
not be smarter than us.
It doesn't mutate.
Yeah, that is the only worry which I have.
Right.
That's
Right.
interesting that Dr. Tulla, and again, hello, Dr. Tulla,
Dr. Tulla?
Sure.
that he has brought up January being the vaccine date, as well as the senator this morning shared that with us too. So I find it interesting that we're all aiming for January. Is there something on the horizon that you see that gives us that kind of hope? Because sometimes, we don't see a vaccine for 18 months to 2 years. I mean, they never found one for Ebola. They never found a vaccine.
Yeah, that's pretty fast. If it is it a repositioned vaccine? Is that why they're looking to have it out so fast?
Yes, so there is some good work going around with the vaccine part. The only problem now is that we need to understand that, see, getting a vaccine is not a problem. The effectivity of the vaccine also has to be great,
Right.
and it has to cut across all cultures. What I mean to say is that it should be effective against all the various ethnicities.
Mhm.
So that's the bigger challenge, because see, for
Right.
example, if they developed a vaccine from a certain area, the predisposition to that population is going to be, that population is going to be a precursor on which you do the test and try to develop the vaccine, right?
Mhm.
So whether it is going to be effective in different subset of population, that is also again a big challenge. And then we have to see whether it is a live vaccine, or is it a frozen, freeze dried vaccine, or is it an antibody based vaccine. So there is a lot of things which are there, but hopefully all said and done, I think the big giants, J&J and all, are after this vaccine. I'm sure with the kind of minds which we have all across in these companies, they should be able to get out of something conclusive on this.
Yeah, because if you take the whole world, we actually have a couple smart people, right? In other words, there's three of them, and we only need one of them, and that's the one that has the vaccine. We did ask the senator, okay, you developed the vaccine. Can you just say, okay, my price for the vaccine is now $3 trillion? He goes, well, that's not going to work. No,
he said, pigs make it through.
yeah, the bears win, the bulls win, slaughtered. But it'll be very interesting to see
It's slaughtered.
when the vaccine does come out. In other words, the pricing going to be, because remember, you're going to talk about billions of vials of vaccine going out, and now the question of what's going to be.
So, Nick, that is why I'm telling you that this vaccine, I'm sorry, I'm a little curt on this, but this is primarily going to be for the developed nation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because please understand that, even if, let's presume that they were to make a vaccine tomorrow itself, the logistics of distributing it, the production, let's be candid on that. The first country which develops the vaccine, the first thing it is going to do is definitely it is going to care for its own people, which is legitimately right also. I mean, you need to first take care of your house and put it in order before you start doing charity to other nations. And that is the big challenge. Now, a country like India, I'm hoping against hope that the government, and unfortunately, we don't have too many choices. So we need to have a kind of lockdown extended in the initial period, and then maybe a graded, kind of taking us out of the lockdown.
Yeah, but
Because
Dr.
honestly,
Tulla, can't you develop the vaccine and then license the process to other countries to develop it? I mean,
yes, you can, but then again, there is a see. Again, the question again is that please understand, to do charity, you have to make money also.
Right. But there's plenty of money to be made.
Yeah. So
I mean,
so Bill Gates, so an example is Bill Gates. He made money. He's doing charity.
Right.
If he would not have made money, he cannot do charity.
Sure. Yeah. But
so that is the big challenge here now. Now the company which makes the vaccine, there's going to spend oodles of dollars in making that vaccine. It's not going to be. There's going to be a good amount of money which is going to go in. Now, what the governments need to help the companies which are making the vaccine.
Yeah, but what happens if there are multiple?
There's huge. We just heard it from the senator that there's huge grant programs. That's why I'm glad I asked about that, because I had no idea where they were, and I went and looked them up and found them.
Well, what happens if there are multiple
grants for that?
There could be multiple different types of vaccines at different levels. Just like in asthma, I have various different choices of medication. There's the expensive medication, there's the medium, and there's the cheap medication.
There's the generic.
Yeah, there's the generic, I guess, cheap. Is there going to be multiple vaccines, and then people have pricing choices on the vaccine?
So maybe that is the see, Nick, we have to get one vaccine at first. Yeah, so I don't think that we will have an option of having five, 6 vaccines coming status quo at the moment. What I believe is, because honestly speaking, despite there being this talk that many countries are trying to work out for this vaccine, I don't think that's going to be that easy.
Right.
So what I presume is most probably, one of these giants only is going to get across with the vaccine at the earliest.
Yeah, but is the development really going to come from a giant company or come from a small company who then works with a giant company?
So whoever takes it, ultimately the giant company is going to take the lion's share out of it.
Correct.
Even it is a small subsidiary which develops the vaccine, ultimately the last laugh is going to be with the giant only.
Right. Yeah.
So then comes the question of sending these vaccines to various people. Of course, they will prioritize, as your senator was saying, which is rightly also, that the elderly should be the first one who should be given the vaccine, and then they do it slowly and steadily into the middle-aged population, and then maybe into the younger one.
Oh, so you start with the older people first?
I presume they should be the ones, because they have made the countries the way they are. Please do remember that there is a great contribution to the economies and the countries by these older generation of people. They have worked hard. They worked very hard to make the countries where they are. So you cannot just say that the right of life is to everyone.
Right.
You can't say that now they are not in any use.
The mortality.
He was saying that it was going to be designated at first, he thought, to the older people and to the people with low immune systems. But then there's also that situation that we're having in highly concentrated areas where it spreads really fast. And again, I think we need to get down to centralized community control, where we control our own environment and sustain the environment. And then that way, if a virus breaks out in that village, so to speak, or in that community, you can control it a little bit better. But I also share my concerns is that we have these highly dense areas, and you need to contain it there. And that's where the vaccine needs to go as well. So, and again, in the country that develops it's probably going to be the first country to use it. I mean, that's...
Yeah, but you can license it out pretty fast and have other countries develop it once the
So Nick, I think that is going to happen. That is going to happen this time. Yeah. I think the companies will not look at petty profits. I think this is the call for humanity. It's a humanitarian crisis all across, and I presume the companies will not do that. They will try to rise up to the occasion,
Yeah.
and I'm sure they will.
The senator made a very interesting point that I wouldn't have known of, but he used to be in the Senate in Washington, D.C., so he knows these little obscure laws. Apparently, there's a law that if some pharmaceutical company tries to price gouge the U.S. government using the Defense Act based on the crisis can actually take over the company. In other words, the government can expropriate the corporation here.
Well, we saw that happen with the inhalers, right, Nick? We saw the one company, the owner of the
he ran into
and he railroaded the
thing is, ultimately what will happen is probably they have to charge a reasonable price based on other vaccines that were similarly developed during the period of time. So it's going to be a reasonable but profitable price. It's going to be very interesting to see when that takes place. But what you're saying is very encouraging, Dr. Tulla. You think this is all going to take place toward the end of fourth quarter, early first quarter next year, because I think people ultimately in their corporations want to see a light at the end of the tunnel. If we're talking about this next year, this time, we're going to be talking about an economy that is a complete wreck at this point in time. People won't have to worry about COVID-19. They're going to be dying of starvation. They're going to be dying of all sorts of.
Nick, I was listening to the senator. He was also talking. Honestly speaking, this is the first gentleman politician I found to be talking great sense. Because see, he was telling that you will lose jobs in one sector, but there will be opportunities in other sectors.
Yeah.
So that is true. Because please understand, if for example, as I was telling about India, we are basically a rural economy. Unfortunately, over a period of time, we have become more of an urban-centric economy, right? So all the jobs were towards the urban areas only. Now we need to reinvent the whole cycle and develop the rural areas also, so that they become into a self-sustaining module.
Exactly.
So we need that to be done. And I think this is your best opportunity. If the leaders think rightly, I think this is your opportunity at the moment.
Yeah.
A country like India, which is a underdeveloped country or a developing country, whatever you want to name it, I think this is a very good opportunity for us to look inwards and try to do it the way it should have been done, years back.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's beautiful. A rebirth, not just a rebuild, but a rebirth. That's beautiful, because you guys have been doing a lot of praying, a lot of self-research and redeveloping in your country, which has been very beautiful to be a part of. And that's beautiful, Dr. Tulla. That's
So I would even like to tell you that, see, we had we in our rural area, there was a scheme which was started by one of the earlier governments. So they were basically employing people to work for a single day and giving them meals as well as giving them money for that day. Now, if we can do that on a mass basis and try to work on the infrastructure of our country, I really believe we have miles to go on that.
Yeah.
We need not get that exodus of people again back to the urban areas, and which will again crowd the urban areas, because 50% of this crowding in urban areas is because of the people who are coming from the rural areas, maybe for the job opportunities to work. If we can provide that opportunities at their home only, I don't think anyone would like to leave their comforts of home and come to work to a distant city where they're going to live in basically subhuman conditions and work like that. Mm-hmm. So I think this is a golden opportunity for the governments and the leaders to look at this as a great opportunity to work on the infrastructure of the country and maybe get us back to track.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Dr. Saggu, what are you seeing in India right now? Yeah, so we've learned that, because I don't want to shake hands anymore and say, "Here, give me coronavirus." I'm not going to do that anymore.
Thank you, namaste. Anyway, so.
By the way, very, very good idea. You guys developed this over in India.
Yeah. So it is called as namaste, and it is called as sat sri akal. So we both the way we greet the people. It's sat sri akal or namaste.
Hey, listen, we're going to adopt that here in the United States because we're not going to do this anymore. That's,
and we're doing this now too. And
This is also online handshake.
and it's all become a sign language of love, togetherness, and namaste, blessings, many blessings for a brighter future.
Yeah.
We no longer have to touch each other, right, Willie?
You don't want to. you touch somebody, you get infected.
Kids, stay away. Kids, stay away. I posted that thing with the turtle, right? And the turtles all sit on a log. They're all like close together. And the mama turtle's sitting there, and the little turtle's poking the kid. Mom, Susie's poking me.
So Dr. Saggu, when does this end? Because I've been quarantined for 7 days, and I'm kind of tired of it. So I want to go back eat in the restaurants. I want to go to the theater. I want to go see the Philharmonic. Back to life as usual. Play golf, tennis.
Online